Muy buenos días, muy buenos días. Good morning.
Good morning,
Morning, good
everyone. How's
morning.
it going?
We are doing pretty good here. I love what is happening today. We are testing some things here, so we're gonna try that everything works perfectly. Let's see, Eric.
And yes, and we're super excited to have, one of my personal friend and, Erik Timmerman. Um,
Good morning, Buenos dias. I'm trying my best Spanish.
we're excited.
That's
We're
great.
excited
That's
to hear
great.
all about you.
Thank you. Thank
And
you for having me. I'm super excited.
we ready with the Spanish for you.
Oh, I'll try as much Spanish as I can, but can't promise nothing. I can hardly speak English, so let alone Spanish.
We're trying something here. So are we connected, Nathi? Are we ready?
Leah, I don't know. Just tell me. This is recording, and I see that it's a live streaming being here from Zoom. But Leah can confirm us if we are streaming on the social media too. She can see
We
it.
are live, but I don't see the full
Okay, much better.
screen.
Okay, now much better.
Now we good. There we go.
Perfect. Thank you, Leah.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, now we are good. Yes.
Now we're ready. Alrighty.
Okay, Eric, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. This is a pleasure. To be honest, it's a pleasure because I admire you. You were my coach, even if you didn't know. My mentor, my coach. I always, since I started in TRIA, I follow you all the meetings. I try to be where he was because he's a very knowledge person and Sherry person. I mean, I love Eric. He knows, and he has that personality that he doesn't stop you for say something. He always share what it is. So I love that Eric is like that. Yes.
Well, keep going, keep going. Don't stop. I appreciate it. I love it.
That's right, Eric. And Eric has a beautiful, beautiful story that, I think everybody needs to hear the story and how he started it, this beautiful journey that have brought him to, where he's at right now and, everything to have accomplished, which, me personally, I know him for probably 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
So we have shared so many stories. We have shared so many things that I think that brought us, not just Eric, just, all his family, close to us. But I want Eric to introduce himself and tell us a little bit of what he do, who Eric is.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, and I need to be on this podcast more often. I love the confidence boost and the compliments you guys giving me. I need to hear. I can hear that every day. But thank you so much. Yes, so I moved to America in 2011. I'm still here. I'm married to an American, so I have a green card. And in 2016, I was working with Irma's husband. I actually was part of Irma getting to meet her now husband back then, and I saw the excitement in Juan's eyes when he first met Irma. But so I was part. Juan and Irma are good friends of mine, and Juan and I were working in a company, and at the time it was 2016. I had a young daughter who is not young anymore, but she was at that time, she was 2 years old, and we just had twin boys that were born. And like in every company, right, like my commission, my pay was changing. But my wife and I also at that point decided that we were not going to have kids raised by the government. We wanted to raise our kids ourselves. So my wife was going to be a stay-at-home mom, and I was going to be the sole provider. So due to everything that happened, my wife quitting her job, my income changing, we ended up on it is food stamps. It was through an organization that helped moms that didn't have enough money, or families that didn't have enough money to get food. So we ended up food stamps, and it was at that time that Juan, Irma's now husband, said to me, "Hey, what you should do, you should go into real estate." I have looked at Juan in several weird ways, but I did not understand what he was saying, because he knew I was on food stamps, so I probably had $50 in my bank account at that time. But I took, I thought the Lord was giving me a signal, so I took it on and start challenging myself to really learn about real estate. So I picked up every single book that I could. I started listening to every single podcast on Bigger Pockets. Every day that I was driving back and forth to work, I never, ever listened to live radio. It was always podcast. 9 years forward now, I have 174 rentals. I do about 20 flips a year, and I'm currently building 16 homes in downtown Raleigh and Durham. So as Natalia said, as Irma said, I these days I just like to help people try to get where they wanted to be. I had Juan to motivate me to get into real estate, and then I had other people that the Lord put in my life to start getting off the ground in real estate, and I want to do the same thing right now for other people. So that's why I love Natalia's story. I love what you guys have done with CLS lending, and try to help you guys there as well. So yeah,
We love
That's
it.
great. Awesome. So you know how hard it is to get to the to the real estate investment, actually, starting from nothing, and then coming along with all the experience you've been getting, which
Yeah.
that's great. Nice to hear that.
Thank you, Cynthia.
It just the experience and the knowledge and the challenges that it just every day is a different challenge. And tell us a little bit of Eric and how you accomplished to just go through every day with all those challenges.
Yeah, so in the challenges over the years have grown, right? In the beginning, the challenge was, with $50 in your bank account, real estate was cheaper in 2016, right? It was much cheaper than it is now. And I know we'll dive into this a little bit later, but I looked at data. The average house in North Carolina in 2019 was $316,000. The average home right now in North Carolina is $387,500. So that is a difference of $71,000 just over the course of 6 years, right? The reason I want to mention that is, like, real estate was cheaper in 2016, but was not $50 cheap, right? Like, I had $50 in my bank account, but we still we still bought a property. So what we had to figure out is, how can we buy properties that are heavily undervalued and that we can add value to, and either put them in our rental portfolio or flip them. So that was the challenge then. And back in the day, the challenge was, it was not so much to find properties, because we were very successful. We did 5 properties in our first full year, and then we went up to 20 properties the year after, because I still remember Juan and I went to a meetup for beginning investors, and I want to tell you this because I think goal setting is incredibly important by overcoming problems. We were in this meeting, and there were probably 20 beginner investors, and everybody, the narrator had asked everybody, go and mention your goals for next year. And everybody had said 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe one property. When it was the turn, when Juan and I could talk in that meeting, we stood up and said, next year, we will buy 50 properties and we will do this. By the end of the meeting, people were surrounding our table, and because there were so many people around our table and so many people wanted to talk to us, people were literally throwing business cards over each other's head on our table, and on the back of the business card it said, please call me. So the reason I wanted to mention that is, like, if you set clear goals, if you set clear, like, when I was 36 and I was on food stamps, my goal was, when I will be 40, I will quit my W-2. And guess what I did on my 40th birthday? I called up my then good friend and director, and I said, listen, I am going to quit. So going through problems, if you don't have a clear goal, you get soaked up so much into the day-to-day problems that you might lose sight on what you're really trying to achieve. And in real estate, in any type of business, I truly believe the more you can cope with problems, the bigger the paycheck you're going to handle. Right? So in any business, if it's CLS lending, and I say this because you guys are on the screen, are above me. If it's CLS lending, if you're trying to start a lending business, if you're starting a flipping business, if you're starting a building business, if you can't cope with the problems, then you can't be successful in real estate. You got to figure out, how do I navigate through the problems and the issues that arise, and see them as challenges for you to grow. For, hey, this is another building step. One wise man once said, don't ask for fewer problems, ask for better solution, or ask for you to come up with better solutions. And that's what you should be praying and asking for when you want to grow your business.
Very good.
That's a big like, I would say, a big saying right there, ask for better solutions, and I think that's one thing that we actually, instead of focus on the problem, we got to start looking out there for the solution, which I think is going to get you farther up or forward, actually keep you moving where you are trying to go.
Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
I have a call with a good friend of mine, Brian, and we meet every week, same time. It's right after this recording. And it's just to help each other, because sometimes you're so caught up in the problem that you don't have, the saying goes, you don't see the forest through the trees. You're so caught up into what you're doing that you don't see the solution. And we call every week, just a short call. What are you dealing with? What am I dealing with? What is the solution to that issue? So sometimes you need other people. And that's also why I do business with a lot of other people, because sometimes you just always need somebody else to say, hey, have you thought about this, or have you thought about this solution?
And the important on all this is, just to be open and ask questions. And somebody, you're probably dealing with a lot of things, but if you don't ask the right question, or you don't ask somebody, you would never find out that, the person next to you, had the solution for the long. So that's really good.
And guess what? Jeff Bezos, who started Amazon, right? He's still dealing with problems, right? He like and what when I help people like Natalia, like Irma, tell them, like, don't try to think where your business is going to be in 20 years. Jeff Bezos, when he started an online bookstore, but Amazon was an online bookstore, he didn't envision that he was going to throw an $80 million wedding in Venice, right? Like, just deal with have a goal and deal with the issues that are coming in between it, and just keep focusing on the goal, keep focusing, keep moving forward.
To never lose sight of, of the reason why you started it, right?
Yeah. And if you're starting a business because you want to work less hours, well, I'm sorry to tell you that.
No.
Everybody's
No.
Saturday mornings are a beautiful time for me to work. There's nobody replying to my emails. I can do my bookkeeping. It is wonderful. So
yeah, that is nice. True. And Erik, I know that when you started it in 2016, how do you navigate nowadays? The prices, like you said it, now is not $50, higher. It's a lot more. If you can tell us a little bit of, how you're navigating now. I know you use a lot of data, but tell us a little bit of that.
Yeah, thank you, Emma. Really, really, really good question. I said it yesterday. I did a Facebook Live event last night, and we had a ton of people on, which was a good turnout. But this, to me, like, I am sorry if you were a flipper or a real estate investor that started during COVID. The reason I say that is you had to deal with a lot of competition, right? Like, everybody wanted to buy a house. Like, gosh, my kids that are 10 years old wanted to buy a house. So this is the best time to start in real estate. Why? Since January, I have picked up 9 properties from the MLS that you all could find on this call, who is looking at this event, that everybody could find, and I'm making a minimum of $100,000 profit on each project, a minimum. So the reason I want to tell you that is not to brag. Of course, nice to mention my good stories. I am selling a lot of properties right now with a loss, so there's a flip side to it. But the properties that I'm picking up have so big of a profit margin because nobody right now is buying, right? Like data is showing inventory is up 20% year over year here in North Carolina. So the market is changing. The market is shifting. And if you're a beginning investor, this is the time to start diving in. And what I always tell is, in today's market, you're not relying on COVID. Everybody was selling their home so expensive that you were wasting your time searching on Zillow, Redfin, Realtor. You were just wasting your time. Right now, you should be pivoting away or combine talking to wholesalers and searching on the MLS. Like there is so many deals out there that you can make so much money. Right now, 2024 was a terrible year. Picked up a ton of stupid properties, absolutely stupid. Should have, but listen, I learned a lot from that. But right now, I'm picking up properties. But what I have learned from that is like I need a bigger profit margin, because my saying is, and write this one down or remember this one. My saying is, right now in this market, if it's easy to buy, it is hard to sell. If it's hard to buy, it will be easy to sell. So what I mean with that is like, if you're going to areas where you can pick up a property like that and there's no competition with buying the property, there will be no competition when you're trying to sell that property. So I'm focusing on, like, I'm in Boyland Heights, downtown Raleigh. I'm in Five Points, downtown Raleigh. I'm in very, very niched areas, very dense areas where everybody wants to live and where I'm having to compete to get that property. Because if you're focusing on the right area right now and you're focusing on where people want to live and you're really looking at the data, you can be very successful in this market. And I started that by saying, right now, I have the most amount of money out in real estate because I know that in this year, I'm picking up deals that have such a large profit margin. I am going to be so jealous next year of what I purchased in 2025 that I was like, please bring 2025 back again because I need those deals, right? So get started, run your numbers. And if you're paying a higher interest rate, don't worry about it. I pay 15% on some of my new builds. But guess what? Because my costs are higher, my offer is just lower. It's all in the numbers. The lower your interest rate, the higher you can offer. The higher your interest rate, the lower you can offer. It's all in the numbers. It's all in the numbers.
Erik, maybe for the new people that are watching us and trying to get into real estate, tell us a little bit of how did you do your numbers? How do you know it's a good property?
Yeah, very good. So you run backwards. I'm here in my office, and I really changed my office from when I got started with Irma and Juan. I was at the property every single day. I worked from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. in my W-2. I left, jumped in my car, and maybe it was 2:59 that I left every day because I was so excited to get in my car. And I drove to the projects and I looked at them. That's what you should be doing when you get started. Now I created a business that I'm gaining weight because I never leave this chair anymore, and I'm just sitting here looking at projects. So what I do is you need 3 data points to get started. 3. So say that Cesar is sending me a deal. He sends me 123 Main Street, and he's asking $75,000 for it. I'm just using easy numbers because I am not good in math by head. So I got to look intelligence on this podcast. So I'm just doing easy numbers. Cesar sends me a deal. He wants $75,000 for 123 Main Street. Then what I do is on my computer, I run the numbers and I say, okay, if I fix this property up for this quality, I can sell it for $100,000. Now, in that instance, every lender will give me 75% of the after repair value, ARV. So meaning that if I can sell the house in the future when I fix it up for $100,000, that means I cannot get a loan for more than $75,000, right? So in that instance, I would send my realtor and my contractor one text message. They're combined together. It's one text message and say, hey, Natalia and Irma, can you guys go through my property and can you guys take pictures and tell me what the repair will be? After the visit, the realtor is going to give me a CMA, competitive market analysis, and the contractor is going to give me a contractor's bid. So then if the contractor comes back, if Irma says, Irma is my realtor, if Irma says, hey, Erik, you can sell the house for $100,000, and Natalia is my contractor, and Natalia says, it will cost you $20,000 to fix that up. Then I go to Cesar, who's selling the property, and I say, okay, Cesar, the ARV is $100,000. That means I cannot borrow more than $75,000. I need $20,000 to fix it up. That puts me at $55,000 for an offer. Okay, that's good to know, right? So now I'm at $55,000. That is one way of running your math. The other, then I'm going to say, if I'm selling my house for $100,000, what is my holding cost? What is my realtor cost? How much am I going to hold it for? I need to make my minimum. There's people that do it different. My minimum is $25,000. So I distract from the 100,000. I distract 6% for realtor fees. There's already $6,000. So remember, I was at 55,000. I need 6,000 for realtor fees. So now I'm at $49,000. I have holding cost, say another $5,000. So now I'm at $45,000. Right. So that's where I make my offer. And if I base my offer on $45,000, I can see what my profit is. And then I need to be around $25,000. So it's just backwards. You start at where can I sell this property? What will my lender do? And just run your numbers backwards from there. And then you get to
So
safe.
that being said, that after you apply the 75% rule, you also minus the holding cost.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I actually calculate my holding cost always high and always long, and I calculate my realtor fees at 8%. A lot of people call me stupid by doing that, but here's my philosophy. I've learned in 2024 that I rather calculate that I'm making $100,000 that turns into $120,000 than I'm calculating I'm making $100,000 and that turns into $80,000. Of course, $80,000 is still a lot of money. I'd still be happy with it. But if I'm projecting to make $100,000, I'd rather get $120,000 in my bank account than $80,000, right? So it is what I see a lot of people do is they're so desperate. They're so incredibly desperate to get started that they run the numbers incredibly low, have a low profit margin, and then they get frustrated that they break even on their first project. I'm like, yeah, but you should have calculated your numbers high, overestimate, make a lowball offer, and make more money, right? So I'm trying to teach people this because I want you to walk away from your first deal and be like, oh my gosh, that is good money. I need to do this again. Rather than, oh my gosh, I'm coming out of pocket and I'm losing money on this deal.
Yeah.
And so based on that, because I'm stopping doing fix and flip right now because now I'm dedicated for TLS Capital, all my full time. But I think that people now is having difficult to find in those prices because the math that you are using is the math that I used to use in a few years ago. So do you still find properties, and which markets are you buying right now applying those principles?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I found 9 properties on the MLS that make me a minimum of $100,000 each.
Okay, when you say on the MLS, so what filters do you use on the MLS, for example, to buy those properties?
I don't. I network with realtors, so I'm very clear on like, hey, Irma was my realtor. Hey, Irma, I am buying in zip code, and you going by zip code, right? Like I'm buying in zip code 727601, or I want to be in this neighborhood, or hey, I want to be in this neighborhood. Be very specific. Like, and the mistake that I made when I was building my business with Irma and Juan was the reason you got to realize when we bought 5 properties, we looked at probably over 100. And the mistake that I made is we were focusing on every single zip code. Oh, Durham. Yeah, let's go to Durham. Oh, Rocky Mount. Let's go to Rocky Mount. Oh, Fayetteville. Let's go to Fayetteville. Whoa, let's go to that Oxford. No, that doesn't work. But when you get started, because speed, if it's a good deal, no matter that this is 2025 and inventory is rising, if it is a good deal, it will sell. I looked at data yesterday, and oh my gosh, now I forgot the city. There is still a city in North Carolina that has a 26 days time to close on average, and 35 deals have sold, meaning as soon as something comes on the market there, it will sell like this. End of story, right? So you need to become an expert in your zip code. So when you want to get started, focus on one zip code and one zip code only. You know what a fixed up property will sell for, say $200 per square feet. And fixed up property will sell for $200 per square feet. So if a property comes on the market that is around $100 or $120 per square feet, you're going to be all over it. You're going to be jumping on that. But if you're focusing on too many zip codes, and you're trying to become an expert in every single zip code here in North Carolina, then you lose the speed, you lose the expert. So start with one zip code and then trickle to other zip codes later on when you have a deal, right? That's always my advice. Just become an expert in one zip code. It doesn't matter where. Just look at the data. It can be, Wake Forest, can be downtown Raleigh, can be Durham, Apex, Pittsburgh, whatever, Chapel Hill, wherever you want to be, wherever you are in looking at this. One zip code, become an expert, pick up one deal, and then just see how your business will start elevating from there. Because one of the things that I forgot to mention when Irma asked me about problems is I look at people now that want to give me money, and I'm like, where were you in 2016 when I really needed money? Like, why is money running to me, right? Like I funded over $3 million this year from OPM, other people's money. There's so much money out there. Just find a deal. Just find a deal.
That's one of the things that here in CLS, we try to teach, everything that you're saying, we try to teach our people. We're trying to, encourage them to, just learn the market, know the market you want to, be investing in and run your numbers.
Yeah.
And if you found a good property, the money will always come.
Money is not an issue right now. That's the least of your worries. The absolute least of your worries.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, you mentioned something, Eric, and it's become an expert in the area. Pick a zip code and just look at the data basically, because that's what's gonna take you, where you actually trying to go. Because I see, and it happens to me before where I was looking at everywhere, like, hey, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here, and then I'm just looking sometimes for the cheapest home. And sometimes it just doesn't work out, because you never know you don't know how the market is in that area, basically, So
yeah,
that's
great. And get
nice
with a
tips.
realtor, right? Yeah, and get with a realtor that knows the area, because the realtor I'm using downtown Raleigh is not the realtor I'm using in Durham. No matter if he sends me a deal in Durham, I'm not using him. Because my realtor in Durham can say, stay away from this street and that street. My realtor in Raleigh can say, stay away from that street and that street, right? Like my realtor in Raleigh said, stay away from that street. It's the ghetto. There's more crimes on that street than all of Wake County combined together. I wouldn't have known that. This when you start, get with a realtor that has been in that market, has been successful in the market, and realize that realtors, because if properties are not selling right now, guess what? Guess who's not making money?
The realtor.
Realtors. So realtors right now are dying for your business, right? Like during COVID, they'd be like, "Thank you, but no thanks. I have enough business myself. I'm good. Realtors right now want your business. So get with her. Contractors right now want your business. I cannot say enough, guys. If you want to get started in real estate, this is probably a better time than when Irma and I started in 2016.
Okay, so I had a question there because everybody wants to know, the people who is starting or just want to start. You always say looking for the data. So when you say data, so can you be specific? Do you use any specific software that you use to just follow or analyze the data?
Yeah, so there it's really easy. Yeah, I always show it on my live events. It's hard here now, but I'm going to try to explain. So there's a lot of free data out there. Did I say a lot yet? A lot of free data.
Yeah.
So you can go to Resi Club, RESI Club.com. There's a paid subscription. There's a free subscription that is very national data. You can go to the NAR website, the National Association for Realtors. There's a lot of data there. I use all of those. But if I want to get really specific, I use paid reports here. But before I use those, I would go to Redfin. I would just go open up a Google browser. And I would go to Google and say, and I would type in literally this. I would say Redfin and A-N-D, and then the city and Raleigh. I would hit search, and then you have to search. It's normally the top two links that you click on. If you click on one link and you see houses, click out of it, go back to Google search and click on the other one. And there you see data. And then you see for Raleigh, you see the amount of how many houses have sold, what is the average sales price, and how many days on the market. Below there is a graph. And if that graph goes like and down, that's not a market I want to invest in. For example, and there's going to be a lot of people pushing back on this. I am staying away from Fayetteville. I don't see that the data in Fayetteville is supporting why I should be buying there. Why? Since 2021, pending home sale numbers are doing this. Are just falling off a cliff. Yeah, they go up a little bit, go up a little bit, go up. But right? So that is one sign for me that I'm saying, I'm going to stay away from particular markets. Like I looked at data yesterday. Cameron, who's just north of Fayetteville, is on the list of one of the cities with the highest amount of inventory, right? So you look at inventory numbers, you can use ChatGPT and say, hey, what is the inventory number for Raleigh? What's the inventory number for Durham? Look at the pending home sale numbers, look at the inventory, and look at days on market. Those are three very important, because if you have a high inventory, a long-term data of market, and the pending home sale numbers are trending down, run, put your running shoes on and go. Don't. But if it's a high inventory, shorter time of days on market, and the pending home sales numbers are trending up, then it doesn't really matter so much, right? Like you still have a higher inventory, so you should account for longer days on the market. But if the pending home sale numbers is also trending up, that means buyers are still buying despite the fact that inventory is rising.
Nice. Erik, and how often do you check the data? Did you check it every day, every morning when you wake up, or how do you do this?
Now, the one thing, great question. The one thing in real estate is the data is incredibly slow. So what I mean with that is, like, again, I mentioned that earlier. I did my event last night, and we're still looking at data from May, because the data from June, Realtor is the fastest. Realtor.com is the fastest with data. They will come out with data on between July 8th and July 10th. This is July 8th, so hopefully they come out sometime soon. The NAR, the National Association for Realtors, will come out with data the last week of July about June, right? So I look on a weekly basis at the real estate numbers. I look on a weekly basis at the unemployment numbers. the weakening of the dollar that's happening right now, and the big beautiful bill are some of the things that I look at. But just to touch base on the weakening of the dollar, and why money is so easy to get by to right now is like the dollar is weakening, which should be good news for real estate investors. Because if the dollar is weakening, that means it will take more dollars to buy that same house. So, for example, Irma, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Irma and I own 12 homes on a long-term loan. We bought them in 2016 and 18, and the value of those homes just went up because the dollar weakened. So we have more equity in those homes, and that's why it's so easy for you to get money. People are wanting to step away from having money in their bank account, because if the dollar is weakening and they're getting a little bit of interest rate, that means it's still decreasing in value, because they're having to spend more dollars to get the same amount of eggs or bread or milk, right? So weakening of the dollar should mean you should run to real estate. In a recession, only in 2008, but in a recession, real estate goes up. And when we have had a deflation, which we had, I think in 1977, when there is a deflation, real estate went up as well. So the only thing in the whole bigger scheme, right? Like, and the big beautiful bill with all the things that they have implemented is very favorable towards real estate. The appreciation, write-offs, and all of that will increase. I think it will increase if people want to start buying. Only thing I am looking at, or what I'm scratching my head about, is despite that we are as a country are flirting with a recession. We have been flirting with a recession for a while now. It is mind-blowing to me that every time the Fed lowers interest rate, people run to the stock market and not to the 10-year treasury. Now I want to go a little bit high level. We spoke about beginners. Now we're doing expert level. Mortgage rates are tied to the 10-year treasury bond. The more people buy the 10-year treasury bond, the cheaper the rates are, the cheaper the mortgage rates will be. We saw slightly overnight during when the bombing was going on in Iran, people start running slowly towards the treasury bond and rates drop. That's why when you look at the rates right now, you say, oh, hey, the rates keep dropping in June. Yeah, that is because of the bombing. But now they're going up slightly again. So the only concern that I have is what is the confidence of people in the American government? Because the more people have confidence in the government, the more they will start buying 10-year treasury bonds. The more they start buying 10-year treasury bonds, the cheaper our mortgage rates will get. So I know that's pivoting away from your question and going a little bit higher level, but that is the data I look at, right? I'm looking at 10-year treasury bond on a weekly basis. What is the decisions of whoever is in office impacting my business? What is unemployment? Where is the dollar? And then I zoom in on a local business. I care about the national data for real estate, but more than ever, you have to focus on your local zip code, what is happening in your local area. Sorry, long answer.
Right. Thank you, Erik. Erik, you mentioned something that value. Always you need to keep the eyes on the value. Okay. So are you relying on your realtor to do a CMA for you, or do you look on the balance of the property by yourself, or do you use an appraisal to do those numbers for you?
I never do an appraisal because I'm cheap, so I don't want to pay $700 or $500. Even if I'm refinancing my properties, I'm always trying to challenge the lender and like, hey, why are we having to pay this?
Thank you, anyway. Erik. Always challenge.
We love Erik.
No, I never do an appraisal, but and again, I'm not getting paid by any of these softwares. I don't receive endorsements, but you can use PropStream or Batch Leads .io, and those are paid softwares that If you're a realtor, you have access to the MLS multi-listing site. I'm not a realtor. I don't have a license, so I'm having to use paid software that then will plug in for me into the MLS. If you're getting started, don't pay for that. Just do what Irma and I did in the beginning, and that is you go to Zillow, and you type in your address 123 Main Street, and you type that, and then the property comes up. If you X out on that property and then start zooming in, then you can do the filter and see what is selling in that neighborhood or in that area for the same square foot, same bed, same everything. So you want to do 3 properties that are similar in that area on the market and look at the average square foot price. And then you want to look at the 3 properties that have recently sold that are similar as to the house that you're looking at, and then add all the square foot up together. And because you looked at 6 properties divided by 6, and now you have the average square foot price for that area, take that average square foot for that area for what you just calculated, and do that times the square foot of that house. And now you know what that house is going to sell for. That is an easy math. That's how I did my math when I did not have paid software. And that's kind of how I do that. But I always verify, Natalia, to answer your question, I always verify my data with a realtor, because the realtor is going to have to sell it, not me. I'm not selling it. I'm just, in the bigger scheme of things, no matter if you're a flipper, Natalia, you're a flipper. You're not a realtor if you don't have your realtor license. You're not a contractor if you don't have your contractor license. You're just a project manager. So take your position serious and manage the project, but let people do what they're good at. The less you do, the more you make. The less you do, the more you make.
Yes. So now you're mentioning that you are flipping and selling. So, but from those houses that you are flipping, how percentage are you keeping those houses?
So, because 2024, I always tell people that if you look at my balance sheet, I should be, if you look at my balance sheet, I'm a multimillionaire. But if you look at my bank account, I should be on food stamps, right? So because of that, and that's because of rentals. Rentals are just an expensive hobby. Your HVAC, if you're making $300 a month and your HVAC unit goes out, you're paying the next 2 years. You're paying the $300 that you're making per month goes towards your bill of the HVAC. And in the meantime, your tenant moves out, your plumbing goes bad, and the roof goes bad. You're paying that. So I want to mention that is that because 2024 was a rough year. I had a lot of repairs, and real estate did not go as we all anticipated. It was a pivotal year. So right now, this year, I'm selling everything that I'm making. I'm selling. I'm getting rid of. I want to be both, right? My bank account should be reflecting my asset balance as well. And then next year in 2026, every 3rd or 4th house I'm building, I'm keeping as a rental. The reason being is if I'm building the house, I know the roof is new, I know the plumbing is new, electric, blah, 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 blah.
No headaches.
And if I build it, that means there's a warranty on it for 10 years, 10 to 5 years. So if things go bad, I don't really care. I call up my warranty department and say, listen, go fix it. And off I go. Plus, if I get a loan on that property, right? So right now I'm building on Lenore Street in Raleigh. Go look it up. I'm building 5 townhomes. Each townhome will appraise for $800,000. So if I take a loan on one of those houses, I put a tenant in there and charge the tenant $4,000 per month. I'm just saying arbitrary numbers. If I charge the tenant $4,000 a month and I take a loan for $400,000 on it, because I took a loan, that money, that $400,000 that comes to me is not a profit because I took a loan. So I can take that money tax-free into my bank account. And I still have the property. And definitely in downtown Raleigh, if you're in downtown Raleigh and you have property, hold on to it. Downtown Raleigh is about to take off. It's not taken off yet. It's about to take off. And now I have $400,000 in my account that I didn't pay taxes on. I still have the property. And now the value is rising. And I sell it 3 years later. And then that's when I really take the benefits of that property. I don't pay short-term capital gain. I already made 400,000 on that house, and then I can sell it later, maybe for 900, and take the additional 500 in my bank account.
Perfect.
Perfect. I think that is the best way to use the money right now in this market. That is the BRRRR method that you are doing. You are doing a fix and flip and now in a new construction. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a BRRRR. That is the BRRRR method. Huh? Buy, rehab, and in this case, build. So BRRRR. It's a BBRRR. It's buy, build, rent, and refinance. The BBRR. Hey,
And
maybe this came up with
repeat.
something new, Natalia. We're gonna trademark this. We are doing a BBRR.
BBRR. Yes.
We just trademark this. We're gonna run with it. The BBRR.
That's right. We gotta market this.
Yeah.
Good. Anyway, do we have questions?
Yes, I do have a question. If you want to start again from scratch, what will you next doing again?
I would be very hesitant in buying. Again, I would not start in areas. I would not start in areas where it's easy to buy. So focus on areas where people want to live. Look at where are homes trending up, no matter if you're buying a rental or a flip, right? So I would, if I'm in the rental space, I would not buy older properties, not older than 1960, not older than 1970, because I almost lost my business by focusing on older properties that were cheaper, and then I had a lot of turnover costs, a lot of capital expenses, is how you call it. I would not do that. I would really try to do the 3-1 method. If you're doing 3 flips, buy 1 rental. Because rentals are great for long-term wealth, are really building your long-term wealth. But you need the 3 flips to either fund the repairs on the flip and to live. You don't want to be like me and be a multimillionaire in your asset class, but your bank account said, hey, you should be on food stamps or on government support. You want to make sure that you balance both balance sheet, balance your cash and your assets. That's why I'm doing next year the 3-1 method. When I'm buying 3 flips, I can see if I can turn 1 into a rental, or the next one, my number 4, needs to be a rental. And this way you have capital in your bank account to live comfortably and to weather. If one of those 3 flips goes wrong, you can weather that storm. And now if there's a repair on your rental, you can repair it and maintain a well-paying tenant.
Very good.
Thank you, Erik. What about, how do you choose your partners, lenders, and your leverage sources?
I love lenders like CLS because I just look at how easy is it? How hard am I having to work to get a loan? Like right now, it's I just had 2 emails before I jumped on this call from people like, hey, I want to give you money. Like everybody right now, like you have to realize, I touched base on that earlier, right? Like if homes are not selling and the rates remain high, not only are real estate agents not doing it, not only are contractors are not doing anything, lenders have, other than CLS, because I see you guys growing like the vegetable garden in here in my yard. You guys are on fire. But what was the data? Like 60 or 50% of the loan officers were laid off last year because lenders are not doing anything. So everybody's trying to get your business. So not that I'm going to, but for CLS, there is maybe 10 other ones. So I'm looking at like, how easy is the process? How easy is it just to rinse and repeat? Do I have to fill out the information once? Do I have to do it twice? How hard? Like I am closing on a deal right now on a 5 townhome complex. Yeah, I'm getting a slightly cheaper rate. It's not over the moon cheaper, but I'm probably never going to use that lender again because it was a chaotic process. It was not streamlined. I look like an idiot right now to my seller right? Like that to me is a problem. And then I'd rather pay 0.5% more and close on time and be it a smooth process. We're closing today. Only yesterday that I got the requirements to get an insurance for a loan that I'm taking on a $2.5 million project. Yeah, we're trying to close today. That's not going to happen, right? Like the entire process is wacko.
Your face is not gonna happen. Look at your
No,
face.
like I'm sending information to one person in the company, and 2 hours later, that other person is requesting that same information. I'm like, you ain't talking to each other. And if you're not talking to each other, who are you? You're not talking to me either. Like that's not working out. So how organized is your lender? How streamlined is the process? How easy is it to deal with them? Look at those things. Rates these days. Everybody's trying to compete for your business. It is so process. How easy is the process? How well is the team knowledge about what they're doing?
And I hate to tell you that you're probably not closing tomorrow or today.
I'm not. I'm signing today, and I'm gonna have to send my $390,000 to the attorney. But
Sorry. I'm sorry to break your heart, but I have to tell you.
but why? Like,
Anyway, but yeah.
But the thing is, like, I connected with them last week, and I'm like, hey, what do you need from me? No, you're good. We got everything from you. And then yesterday you emailed me at 4:30 p.m. that you need an insurance policy to close. I'm like, where were you last week? Like, holy guacamole! Like,
yes, I noticed that maybe some lenders or loan officers try to hide or lie because they don't want you to get upset or discouraged. But that's what I'm doing with my clients. I always say the truth up front. This is what is happening. Let's work together. If we don't work together, nothing is gonna happen. If you don't give me this document, I'm not gonna close for you. So
the truth comes out at one point, right? Like this got the umbilical cord in the beginning, and just like so. And that's what I appreciate. Like a nasty plug here, but that's what I appreciate about CLS, right? Like it's just from the beginning. This is what we need. Off we go, and I can submit the documents. I can prepare, and then it is on me. But now I asked you several times last week, what do you need from me? And there was nothing. And now we need an insurance policy. And not only am I looking disorganized to my insurance guy, the seller is going to be like, WTF, pardon my language, but now we're going to extend closing again. I'm like, yeah. I'm sorry.
Anyway, well, I don't know if you guys have more questions. Thank you, Erik, so much. We love doing business with you. Thank you. We have learned a lot together. We continue learning, and we appreciate you very much.
I appreciate this opportunity, and I hope it was, as you can tell, I liked sitting on this talk. I hope it was informative, and it really helps your followers to get started, because again, I cannot emphasize enough, get started.
Thank you, Erik, always to be open to the information, to the people. I mean, I really appreciate that you are doing this for everybody. Thank you so much for being here, Erik.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, we'll see you in the next meeting. The TRIA. He is the king of TRIA right now. You need to see the guy.
Yes. That's great.
I guess you have.
He's proud.
You're having the main meeting on Thursday, correct?
Yeah. I'm part of a local meetup group, and we're a nonprofit. I always say we're nonprofit because they couldn't afford my salary. But all kidding aside, we're part of a nonprofit. I'm part of a nonprofit, TRIA, TREIA.com. We host meetings. We are having one with an incredible speaker, talking about money first on Thursday in downtown Raleigh. And we're doing 18 meetups throughout the month. We provide you with lenders, people that can provide you with deals, rehabbers, It's where I got started, how I got off of food stamps with Irma. Irma gewoon weer not on food stamps, but with them building a business, this using Tria and the members of Tria. There's a ton of wealth there, a ton of money there, and deals there. So yeah.
And knowledge. I always emphasize that the knowledge, that room holds all the time we get together. I think if everybody can just grab a little bit from everybody, I think that, everybody's going to.
Yeah, we're doing a free network event on the 16th in Raleigh. And the saying goes, right? You are in 99% the same of your 3 closest friends. The reason is, so to Irma's point, start hanging out with people that are like-minded. Don't listen to your aunt or your father about real estate. Listen to people that have done it. Surround yourself with people that have done it, and you will find that you will do it within a heartbeat. So
that's right. And it's not easy. You have to do a lot of work, but if you're constantly doing the same thing and better yourself every day, I think, you'll get, you're going to reach your goals.
Yeah. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But that's also why you make different money than being in a W-2.
That's right. Well, again, Erik, thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Muchas
gracias. De nada.
Gracias.
Gracias, Erik.
Thank you so much.